A lot of players have it. But I had the ability to play every night. I brought it every night.
Yeah.
I had a good understanding that Celtics paid me to win basketball.
Larry Bird is regarded as one of the fiercest competitors in basketball history, an unmatched combination of grit, skill, and an iron will to win. But make no mistake, Bird didn't become a legend by playing nice. He thrived on rivalries, trash talk, and intense battles that left his opponents frustrated and sometimes even embarrassed. And while he didn't hate every player he faced, there were 6 players he just couldn't stand. Guys who got under his skin, tested his patience, and, in some cases, sparked lifelong grudges. Bill Laimbeer. When it comes to players Larry Bird couldn't stand, Bill Laimbeer was always number one. Playing for the ruthless Bad Boys Detroit Pistons, Laimbeer built a reputation as one of the dirtiest players in NBA history. Hard fouls weren't just part of his game. They were practically his signature move. Bird hated Laimbeer's overly physical style, calling him a disgrace to basketball during an interview. For Bird, the line between tough play and outright dirty tactics wasn't blurred. It was crossed repeatedly by Laimbeer. One of their most infamous clashes happened in the 1985 playoffs, where a skirmish between the two escalated into a full-on brawl. The fight wasn't just about basketball, it was about respect, or the lack of it. Bird once admitted, "Nobody liked him, and I sure wasn't going to be the exception." Even years after retiring, Bird reportedly couldn't find a single redeeming quality in Laimbeer as a competitor. For Bird, facing Laimbeer wasn't just a game, it felt like war. Isiah Thomas. The Cold War between Larry and Isiah Thomas goes down as one of the most bitter rivalries in basketball history. The tension wasn't limited to the court. It spilled into headlines, interviews, and controversies that couldn't be ignored. In the late 1980s, after another heated playoff matchup, Isiah made a comment that sent shockwaves through the NBA. He suggested Bird got more credit than he deserved because he was white. Bird wasn't one to let words slide, especially ones that cut deep. The backlash was immediate, and Bird responded saying, "That wasn't about basketball. That was about disrespect." Isiah issued an apology, but it felt shallow, and the damage had already been done. Their dislike wasn't just verbal. It played out in the toughest of games, with Isiah's Jordan Rules defense targeting Bird just as fiercely. Every Celtics-Pistons matchup turned into an emotionally charged battle where nothing was held back. Bird later said that playing against Isiah's team wasn't just about basketball skills, it was survival. Rick Mahorn. If Bill Laimbeer was Detroit's mastermind of chaos, Rick was the muscle behind him. Another key member of the Pistons' Bad Boys, Mahorn was known for his physicality and intimidation tactics designed to push opponents off their game. And guess who was often the target of Mahorn's brute force? Larry Bird, of course. Mahorn took pride in being the enforcer, setting crushing screens and delivering hits that left opponents thinking twice before driving to the basket. Bird openly despised Mahorn's game, accusing him of taking things beyond basketball. All he cared about was hitting you, Bird commented in a magazine interview. Their clashes often boiled over, with Bird taking exception to Mahorn's relentless attempts to knock him off his rhythm. And while Bird respected Mahorn's toughness to some degree, he couldn't stand what he saw as outright cheap shots. For Bird, Mahorn symbolized everything dirty about basketball in that era, and their matchups were anything but calm. Oh, by the way, hit that subscribe button if you are enjoying this video so far. Thanks, anyways. Michael Cooper. Larry might not have had the same level of hatred for Michael Cooper as he did for others on this list, but make no mistake, Cooper frustrated him like no one else could. As one of the elite defenders for the Los Angeles Lakers, Cooper made it his mission to shut down Bird during their high-stakes battles in the NBA Finals. Cooper's relentless defense, combined with his knack for trash talk, made every possession a grind for Bird. In fact, Bird famously compared Cooper to a mosquito. You swat at him, but he keeps coming back. Cooper's ability to stick like glue every time Bird touched the ball forced Bird to dig deeper into his bag of tricks, making their matchups a mental and physical chess game. While Cooper played clean defense compared to other rivals, Bird didn't appreciate how effectively Cooper got under his skin. For Bird, facing Cooper was less about outright fighting and more about trying to outsmart a player who refused to back down. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Although Larry Bird and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar were two of the greatest players in NBA history, their relationship was frosty at best and icy at worst. Much of the tension stemmed from the heated Celtics versus Lakers Rivalry in the 1980s, where Bird felt Kareem didn't show enough respect for Boston's dominance. In an interview, Bird once admitted, "I never felt Kareem respected what we did as a team. It always seemed like he thought he was above us, and Kareem didn't shy away from throwing subtle jabs of his own, once suggesting Bird occasionally bent the rules to gain an advantage." While they never had a physical confrontation, their rivalry played out during epic matchups in the NBA Finals. Bird rarely highlighted his frustration with Kareem publicly, but it was clear their battles weren't just about basketball, they were personal. Both legends gave everything on the court, but Bird couldn't ignore the tension that lingered off it. Magic Johnson. While Larry Bird and Magic Johnson eventually became close friends and one of the NBA's most iconic rival duos, their early years were anything but buddy-buddy. When they first crossed paths during the 1979 NCAA championship game, Bird found Magic's constant smiling and cheerful demeanor annoying. "I thought he was fake," Bird admitted in an interview years later. That perception carried into their early NBA battles as Bird's Celtics faced off against Magic's Lakers in the finals nearly every year during the 1980s. Magic's joyful energy rubbed Bird the wrong way. Not because Bird didn't respect him, but because it felt over the top. "Nobody's that nice," Bird would say. And though both players had unparalleled respect for each other's game, their rivalry in those early years fueled intense competition that bordered on animosity. Over time, through mutual respect and shared experiences, their relationship softened into the friendship we know today. But in those early matchups, Bird didn't enjoy Magic's endless grin one bit. Larry Bird's intense rivalries with these players added another layer of drama to his illustrious career. Whether through brutal physicality, searing trash talk, or outright dismissive comments, each of these players pushed Bird to his limit, and he rarely held back when talking about them. These heated relationships not only defined Bird's playing days, but also left behind some of the spiciest stories in NBA history. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.